Hey, this is Stephen Amell, and you are listening to Tomorrow's Legends, the podcast. Don't fail your city.
During a trip through time, the Legends were forced to land the Waverider in Blue Valley, Nebraska, where they discovered a young superhero.
Yes!
About to take flight.
That's cool.
Who are you?
I'm Stargirl.
Hello, Cosmic Crew. We are here for... Oh, man. My arm is really itchy right now. We're here for Chapter 4 of the 3rd season of Stargirl called The Evidence. And I'm really uncomfortable right now. Dang. The Flash.
Wondering if we need an exterminator or a vet or some sort of additional help. Harley Quinn.
And I'm saying my Blue Lantern oath to prepare for whatever battle we've got in front of us. X-Force 11.
Hello, Legends.
And there is Gideon.
Yay!
And now, here are your hosts, the Scarlet Speedster himself, the Flash, the Maid of Mischief Harley Quinn, and the Blue Beacon of Hope, X-Force 11.
And she said hello a lot earlier than she usually does. Jumping the gun. So before we get to news, I got a question for you guys. It just struck me as a curiosity. Out of our intros, we got Tom Cavanaugh, Stephen Amell, and John Barrowman. Which one is your favorite?
That's hard. Honestly, but for me, it's Barrowman because he says my name. He says X-Force 11. Yeah. So yeah.
I'm partial to Stevens.
Steven is for me just because he's been the leader of Arrowverse and just having him say that. This is one of the ones that our feedbackers got for us. Abby got this one for us, so it was wonderful of her. But he also recorded me one for Arrow Squad, so I've been there. I've been in that process, and same with Tom Cavanaugh. Tom Cavanaugh recorded for me, but just knowing who Stephen Amell is and how much fun he had with it. I don't know. I like having the leader introduce our show. It's just my
sure.
favorite. But I do agree with you, X-Force. John Barron says all of our names, which is he's the only one that does. So that is also really dang cool.
Yeah.
That's true.
All right, let's get to some news.
We interrupt this podcast for a special report.
So the first bit of news is no new episode of Stargirl next week. On 9/28, they're repeating episode 1 of season 3. I'm not sure if there's something else going on TV that night, or if they just wanted to move the season finale to the week after Thanksgiving, or 2 weeks if they give a break during Thanksgiving. Either way, we've got a hiatus next week, so you can rewatch episode 1.
We knew it was going to happen. There's no way we were going to get 13 episodes straight.
Yeah. But anyway, the next piece of news is pretty exciting. Mm-hmm. So there's a possible either cameo crossover with Stargirls, Titans, and Doom Patrol. So TV Line is reporting that there's a Blue Valley sign seen on one of the Titans sets, and Breck has posted a picture on her Instagram with Jeff Johns, Titans Ryan Porter, who plays Gar, Beast Boy, and Arrowverse director Eric Dean Seaton, and on kind of the Titans set. And so there's also some rumor that she's going to do a guest star pop-up in Doom Patrol 2. And this is kind of interesting because per the Crisis, Titans, Doom Patrol, and Stargirl are all on different Earths. And so I don't know how that's going to work. Now, the interesting thing is there is a Doom Patrol in Titans verse because Gar was there, but it was a different, it's different. So I don't know if they're going to do a cross the multiverse quick cameo crossover or something. We don't know how that's going to work, but I'm looking forward to it.
I know how it's going to work.
Okay.
Stargirl is finally going to figure out how to power up that shooting star special move and just going to rocket her into space and through a portal and land on their Earth.
Yeah.
It's cool. I mean, it's exciting. We like the crossovers, but yeah, how they're going to explain it'll happen, no idea. But it's interesting that it's going to be Titans and Doom Patrol because those are the other shows that are based around younger superheroes. So it's kind of neat that they're going to all get to hang out together.
Yeah. I mean, I liked last seasons of Titans quite a bit because it was a Gotham-based season, and so. But I think I like Titans a bit better than Doom Patrol, but they're both fairly interesting series.
I'm way behind on Titans because season 1 and 2 was just so slow and boring to me. I really struggled to get through it, and I haven't even tried Doom Patrol. I don't
Doom
know
Patrol
anything about
is
that one.
like, it is wacky and wild, like it is, and sometimes off the wall with some of the stuff that they do. So it's out there. So
do you watch them, Harley?
I didn't. I got stuck in season 2 of Titans and just had too much going on and other things to keep up with, and I just sort of didn't catch back up. Although I was liking what I was watching, but season 2 got difficult because every other episode was a flashback, and I was having a hard time getting through it. But it was interesting. It was slow, so I just haven't gotten back to it. I liked season 1 a good bit. I didn't think season 1 was very slow, but season 2 is very different. The way that they put it together. So
yeah.
So I'm behind, very behind. I haven't watched Doom Patrol either. Other than
and what's the other one? Umbrella Academy or something, or what's that other one?
Well,
that's on Netflix.
Yeah. That's totally
I haven't watched that one either. It's coming to a close though. Their 5th season is their final season.
Oh yeah.
I think that's their 5th.
Cool. Well, there you go, guys.
We now return you to our regularly scheduled podcast, currently in progress.
Let's get to our impressions of this episode.
Gathered together from the cosmic reaches of the universe.
Look at the numbers this week. Woo!
All right. I gave this one 8.5 heroes enlightened and villains in the shadows. Wow. We got revelation that Cosmo's power is channeling into Sylvester. We found out the experiments on Cindy are causing her to transform. But I don't think the shadow figure that we have seen is Cindy. And I'm not convinced it's Dragon King either. But I did enjoy this episode quite a bit. So I am glad that we've kind of got some movement going on. And like I said, I enjoyed it quite a bit. Nice.
I also very much enjoyed this episode. So I gave it 8.5 villain besties. I thought it was really solid the way they put it together. I actually enjoyed this episode a bit more than I had been enjoying the first 3, so that's why I bumped it up a little in my ratings. I think the other 3 I've just stayed solidly at 8. Not bad, but not like great for me. So I bumped this one up a little bit. There were definitely several standout moments for me, kind of looking back on the episode. The whole opening sequence with Cosmo waking Courtney up and taking her to help Sylvester, loved that. That was so cool. The kiss, of course, because I hardcore ship Courtney and Cameron, even if it's never going to work. I don't care. I love it. The revelations about Cindy, because now my mind is kind of twisted in a pretzel about all that. So I don't know what's going on there, but I'm very intrigued. And, of course, the endearing ways that our favorite ex-villains are bonding with our hero team. Like, that was just a ton of fun. So, the format and tone of this season are definitely different from past seasons for several reasons. But I do think this episode, they kind of hit their stride, which makes sense. It's the 4th episode, so they ironed out their kinks.
Okay. Well, I'm giving it a 9 Scales of the Dragon. Now, I don't know about it hitting its stride. That's what because it's 1 episode out of 4 already in a short season. So it shouldn't take this long to get going or figure this out, especially because it's season 3 already. Like, come on, writers. hit the ground running. Don't take 4 episodes to figure yourselves out. That, to me, is ridiculous. You know what you're doing. You know the characters. Just get going right off the bat. We don't have a lot of time to waste here. But where I agree is that this is the best episode in a while for Stargirl. They had the pacing just right, and they narrowed down the story to just 2 really big main elements. You had Sylvester's story and you had Cameron's story, with a little dabbling into the others without trying to give everyone equal share of the episode, which is exactly where a show with such a large cast needs to land in understanding. Focus each episode on 1 or 2 of them and let everyone else wait to get their turn instead of trying to fit everybody in. It just makes better storytelling, and that's what this one did, and that's why it worked so well, and that's why it's getting my high rating.
Yeah, I agree.
Sounds good.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice.
So, no Gambler flashbacks. We talked about him, but no flashbacks this week. So, we're going to start off with the JSA and Friends and Frenemies. So, like Harley talked about, Cosmo wakes Courtney up to take her to help Sylvester, and I, too, really like that scene.
It just was cute. I mean, it just was so fun. It did kind of bring a question to light, though, especially of what we learned in this episode. So I wonder if Sylvester will eventually either, like, maybe teach Courtney how to communicate with Cosmo, or if it's not teachable, is this because of, like, how long him and Cosmo were bonded? It's kind of like an understanding and, like, a mental communication, but not necessarily like a word-to-word communication you could teach Courtney. So I'm kind of interested to see which way they'll go with that. But I definitely would like her to be able to communicate better with him as well.
Yeah.
Cute? You think that's cute?
The way he, like, wakes her up, and I don't know, I thought it was fun.
I think that's actually rather creepy. Think about it. A glowing stick floating through your house in the middle of the night on its own, and then sneaking into your room to poke at you? That's creepy.
It's like a dog. They're kind of trying to play it off like the family dog anyway.
Yeah, I'm just messing around. That is cute. The way they're giving Cosmo that type of personality, that is cute. Like, it's obviously very much like a little kid or a dog or a cat smacking you in the face. Meow, meow, feed me, whatever. But the reason I'm making the joke about it being creepy is because it actually flashed back to some childhood nightmares I used to have. I used to be scared of the telephone. What? Back when I was a kid, we had the phones that hung the wall and had an actual cord. They were corded
super
telephones.
Long cord, yeah.
I do remember those, yes.
Yeah. So we used to have one when I lived in my grandparents' house for a little while. And they had an extremely long cord that could reach, it hung in the kitchen. It could reach all around the entire main level of the house. And I don't know, as a kid, I was scared of that thing because I hated the phone every time. You know, the phone would ring and someone wanted to talk to me. Oh, Martin, Auntie so-and-so wants to talk to you. No! And I hated the phone. I hated it. The phone scared me because what is this weird object that someone's voice is coming out of? It freaked me out. So I would have nightmares of that phone floating through the house, chasing me, and I always had to run. I knew that if I could get to a certain room in the house, it would reach the end of its cord and it couldn't reach me.
That's amazing.
And that's because otherwise, if I didn't get away, it would wrap its cord around me and strangle me. So I can't. It's so weird that scene brought that nightmare back. I haven't thought of that in 30 years.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. So that's why that whole scene was creepy to me. Anyway, now to your talk about the communication. I'm leaning towards the length of time she spends with it is what's going to create that understanding of how to communicate with it.
Okay.
I don't think it's something that Starman's going to be able to teach her, hey, when it makes this sound, that's what it's saying. I think she just has to spend time with it. The bond that they generate will eventually help them understand it. Again, it's similar to what you said with a dog or a cat. You start to understand what your animals are saying to you based on how they're barking or how they're meowing and what they're trying to tell you. You start to understand that without it being actual words. I mean, my cats, based on the tone of their meow, I know what they're looking for. So
that's true. It out. And it's the same with little kids too, that can't really fully express themselves until they are like at least 3. So that's a good point. That's a good way to put it. I like that. I like it.
I wanted to something else I wanted to mention too. You know what I really enjoy about Stargirl's opening? For some reason, their opening title graphic of Stargirl with the whole screen just flashing that that yellow glow and the star eventually comes shining through, and then you see the Stargirl. To me, it's probably the best opening logo out of all the Arrowverse shows. I don't know why. Like it just invokes this really cool comic book sense of fun.
Yeah, it's simple, but they always have like a new theme to go with it and a new way that the graphic, that the graphic kind of comes through. So like it's unique each season, but it's not the montage we've gotten used to from the other shows. And I do like that better, I think. I mean,
it's just...
Yeah. It's fun.
I think simple is more in this case.
Well, and it just sets the tone of this being like a golden age show, and of that true, kind of more simple and direct and that kind of stuff with it. So I like it.
Yeah. I mean, when you compare like the montage, like Flash does the huge montage, and although in the last 2 seasons when Flash changed their whole opening sequence and you see all the images of each character flashing away from you, that's actually a really cool opening. Like that's the best opening Flash has ever had, but it takes a long time. Stargirl is quick and over. It sets the tone. Off we go. We're into the show now, and I just really appreciate it. I mean, Superman and Lois is also a very cool logo because they have that really, really dramatic music tone to it. It's also really cool, but I'm noticing a change in the way they're doing it now. The old shows did the big montages. The new ones are just doing, here's the title, boom, let's get into it.
Yeah, and I like that. It gives them, it's like an extra 30 seconds you have to play with, which is kind of a lot in the TV world. So
yeah,
I like that. I just had a quick note just because we didn't really have it anywhere else and it sort of fit in here. I just wanted to say that I thought Breck's acting in all of these hospital scenes was just fantastic. I loved the emotions, whatever she did with her face, kind of like the physicality of it, how she was doing things with her hands. Like I just wanted to make a note of that because I thought she was absolutely fantastic. So
I agree with you, and I'll throw in here too that I was a fan of Sylvester this episode. I know I kind of like, not really, he's not growing on me yet, but his performance in this episode, because it was all serious stuff, it came through really well for him this time.
He really is a great actor. I do like Joel McHale, but I'm very familiar with his work.
So he just was. I like I said before, he was just stiff and it's whatever to me. But this time he really seemed to find a groove in expressing, some emotion, especially in the scenes with Pat when they're talking. Just the tone of their voices both changing and stuff. It was good stuff.
Yeah, and I know Ken in Chicago brought up that give the guy a break. He dug his way out of a grave. So, he's kind of dealing with some stress and some trauma there.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that was more a directing, possibly an acting choice on Joel's part. But it's not a testament to his acting abilities, I promise.
Well, you guys remember when I used to complain about Katie Lotz way back on Arrow? I mean,
true.
Podcast Overlord knows that. This is the same thing. I just found him the same way. He just felt behind. The rest of the actors have found their groove. He hasn't yet. That's what I mean.
Well, he is at least.
This episode, he was good.
Yeah, I mean, he's newer to this show, and this is a different tone. I mean,
genre.
I mostly watch him as a comedic actor, and this is very different than that. So, anyways, I do like him. So I'm like just enjoying watching him.
I like Pat. I like Luke Wilson.
I like Luke Wilson too.
Me and Patty Spivak were talking while we were just watching this episode again before we sat down to record. Luke Wilson and his brother Owen, the way those two talk, it's unlike any other actor or human being I have ever heard. The way they speak, the way they pronounce things, like where does that come from? Whatever town they were raised in, do all the people talk like that? Like I have no idea. It's the two of them are so unique in how they speak English. It's crazy.
I know. I could listen to both of them though. Just I wish I don't know if they have podcasts, but I would listen to them for hours on end.
But it's so, you guys agree, right? Like it's like they're so unique in their way they talk. It's crazy.
He Luke did a series on Fox. It was only one season, but he did a lot of narrating on it, and it was all about emergency services and rescue. It was all about 911 operators and different stuff like that. And he did the voiceover on that. But yeah, he's pretty good at that voiceover. So.
Yeah,
cool. You just know it's them instantly.
You do.
As soon as you hear it.
Yeah.
All right, back to the show.
So in the hospital there, Courtney and Sylvester come to an agreement to share Cosmo on a little more fluid basis. Not, you get the daytime, I get the nighttime. It's like, okay, let's share this as needed. Let's not let those things so people don't get hurt.
Well, I think that's how it should be. It's whoever needs it most. That's the type of situation it should be in. It's just going to suck if they both need it at the same time, which is going to happen. Yeah. It's got to happen sometime this season.
Which means they're going to need to work together, which is what I want to see.
Yeah, they're going to throw the staff back and forth.
Yes.
Kind of tag team thing.
That is what I want to see.
Epic battle. So we get to see a little of Yolanda's home life. She's getting filled in by Rick on the phone about what some of the what happened to Sylvester and different things going on. And then we find out things are hard for her at home. She's back to work because her dad is out of work and their parents are putting their house on the market. So things are not good in her household.
Ugh, no, her mom is the worst though. Like I hate how terrible she is. Like why? Like this is crazy to me. She assumes the worst, obviously. She's super rude to her daughter. Like I don't understand how this entire situation has like just turned her parents against her when she was being taken advantage of. Whatever. I don't know. I'm not super happy at her parents. However, with as kind of controlling and watchful as they are, I'm a little surprised Yolanda's getting away with being able to sneak around and be Wildcat. So that's probably going to catch up with her at some point, because isn't her mom going to notice that she was gone for a few hours and didn't bring home any tips? Or what if she calls Maria or shows up at the diner? Like,
that's where I'm thinking. Yeah, like right now the restaurant is the quote unquote excuse to get away. So until her mom goes to check up on her, she's okay.
Yeah. So anyway,
but we know her parents are more concerned about appearances and reputation than they are about their own daughter. So every time we see them, this is what we're going to get, and it's just making us all hate them.
I guess. Is this like a culture thing? Like
see, that's the bad thing is like
paints it in a bad light if it is.
It's a bad stereotype of the culture. I mean, they are concerned. Like we the school I work in, we've got a large Hispanic population, got friends in the culture and things like that. So yes, appearances and different things, but it's just putting it in a bad light. I mean, it's a bad example, bad stereotype. It's not very positive any way around. So No,
but on the flip side of that type of thinking, though, if you remember all the way back to season 1, her parents weren't like this until they disagreed with her lifestyle and her choices and things they were doing. So we don't know how bad they were treating her before that, but that's why I say they're more concerned about appearances and reputation, because once Yolanda ruined that for them, that's when they started being the way they are now, these jerks.
Yeah, exactly.
But to counter the appearance of their culture, like Hispanic, Mexican, Latin, I mean, those cultures are very family oriented and very loving and supportive type of family. So I don't think this is tarnishing an overall view of the Latin and Hispanic culture, because I know myself from the people I know and from being down there that they're very family oriented. So this to me is kind of like the outcast view of one particular family. It's not like you would see with other Hispanic families, because they're not like this.
Interesting. Yeah, it feels like an odd choice for the family dynamic, but I guess they need some sort of, she needs some sort of push or some sort of something to be Wildcat, I guess. So, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway. She'll get caught. It's going to happen. We'll probably see that. She'll
That's what I
get
think.
caught not being at the restaurant.
Yeah. Too true. So the JSA does a full-on search of the trailer, and it's the whole group. And they're coming up with nothing. It's like they said, it's like they can't find anything. It's like somebody's gone in and cleaned since Sylvester was taken out. And Cindy says, of course, that's what happened. And then they accuse her of attacking Sylvester. And she says, well, if I would have, he wouldn't be alive. So
I did kind of love that response.
Yeah, I mean, that's just Cindy, though. I mean, she's defending herself with an honest response. She never holds back. She just tells it like it is. And she even says that. She goes, well, I'm just being honest. Like, they all look at her with an accusing face, but she's like, you know who I was before, and it's so,
Yeah.
It's just like I'm enjoying her. She's kind of funny in her overly truthful, sarcastic way. I kind of like that.
I do too. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
Shocker.
Yeah. So Beth and the goggles do find one stem cell. And so
One single one.
Yeah. And so with the OG Dr. Midnite's help, they discover that it's similar to what he's seen before, and that was Dragon King cellular makeup.
Now, who called that last week? Was that you, Harley, that said it could be Dragon King?
Yeah, I had predicted either Killer Croc or Dragon King.
Okay.
Yeah.
To me, that's crazy. One cell, like, talk about super focused by those goggles that they can pick up a microscopic level single cell.
I know. I mean, they're supposed to be a super crazy advanced AI, even though it appears as if it's right out of 1980.
Yeah. But what about the rest of the trailer? Like, what she would have been seeing, I would imagine, billions and trillions of cells all over the trailer because the gambler lived in it for, he was there for a day.
Well,
it was cleaned.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
cleaned.
maybe they cleaned it. They cleaned it, and that was all that was left. So
one single cell. Anyway, I've got comments and notes when this comes back up later.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
The original Dr. Midnite comes back, so I guess he's not too far away.
That's a good point.
To be able to, because Pat's like, oh, I called somebody, and he was there within, I don't know, an hour or two, it seems, so he's not that far away. I never expected him to come back, because last season when they left us, Beth was just telling him, did you know your wife was pregnant before you disappeared? And suddenly he's living with his family. He's got a kid. He's back with his wife, and because he said something like, the kid gives us trouble sometimes. It keeps me busy. To me, I guess that's the summertime. During summer school, this is what was happening for him. It just seems like they jumped a bunch of information, and this is just them catching us up really quick. We go from Beth telling him he's got a kid to now he's living with the kid and having a family life. It's like, okay, that was a big jump in the summertime.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of with you. It kind of felt in some ways out of left field, but also like hey, we're just going to really quick catch you up on what's going on in this guy's life, and that he's,
Yeah, and that was that.
Yeah.
I'd like more information personally, but we probably won't get it. It's probably not essential to anything.
Yeah. And this might be a one-off cameo. Who knows?
True.
Yeah, who knows? So Courtney tells the JSA about Cindy's past and what she learned last season in the Shadowlands, and I thought this was really good of like her sharing that information and the reason why. I mean, maybe she should have shared it earlier, but maybe she didn't feel like it was up to her to share, of why she is trusting Cindy more this season. But I guess it's maybe like it's not my story to tell, and that was pretty personal what went on in the Shadowlands on both of our accounts. So,
and that's probably why she was a bit hesitant to tell him, because she didn't blurt it out. She was thinking about it as she was saying it.
Yeah.
But what it makes me wonder is if, especially Rick and Yolanda, will they give her a little bit of sympathy now at all? Or cut her some slack for the way she behaves. Now that they know that she was a lab rat in her own family, she was experimented on, abused, and not treated with any kind of love. Like, that should give you plenty of understanding as to why Cindy is the way she is, and you should cut her some slack. So I hope to start seeing that from them.
That would be nice.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But,
I was over the whole Yolanda jumping down her throat after 10 minutes in the first episode, so I would definitely like to see them move on for sure.
Yeah.
All right, well, just because we didn't have this anywhere else in the notes, I felt like we just should simply note that Mike and Jakeem are actually trying to solve this entire mystery on their own, just to prove themselves, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems ill-advised, but fortunately the Thunderbolt has other plans because wishing is not an exact science, which did make me laugh. I'm sorry. When they flew out of the bathroom on an avalanche of keys, I literally busted out laughing. I needed to just note that because it was amusing.
Yeah.
It was funny. The avalanche of keys was funny, but again, how stupid is this town? Like, everybody witnessed pink lightning coming from the bathroom door, and then a billion trillion keys come flying out, and they all just go about their business at school. Like, does nobody take note of this stuff and think anything as weird is going on? Like, there's something. There's got to be a reaction to that. I mean, yes, it's a funny scene. Okay, fine. Hand wave it, whatever. The town just doesn't. It's just bugging me that the town isn't taking notice to a lot of these weird happenings, or nothing's being asked about. But anyway, I think that scene was pretty useless. It's making me wonder if these two are even needed on this show, because every time the show cuts to one of their scenes, it's like they're on a different show. They're on their own show. Nothing feels connected to anything else that's going on. It feels like commercial break. Oh, let's show you what's going on in this show now. Meanwhile, Mike and Jakeem are blah blah blah, and like that. It doesn't even feel part of Stargirl. It's just really wigging me out. I'm like, I'm not watching Stargirl for every scene that they're in.
I don't really have a response to that. I'm certain they'll need the Thunderbolt at some point, which is why they're just trying to keep them around and trying to show their mishaps with the genie, because it's funny.
Performances are fine. The kid playing Mike is not as annoying as he was the last two seasons. He's actually an okay actor this season. It's just their scenes are just useless to me. I don't need it.
Well, anyways, like I said, I felt like we should mention it.
And you did.
And I did.
All right. The next section I called Sylvester on the Mend. So Sylvester was ambushed, and he does not remember his attacker. And Beth's mom, the doctor, is able to cover up the accident, but they kind of need some more expertise. And again, this is where Pat calls in Dr. Midnite for his help. And so I really liked that we got, a little more hero medicine, in this episode.
Well, and I wanted to check how you were saying that, because I just finished watching that episode again, and in the scene, Courtney, when he first wakes up, Courtney's like, "You were attacked." And he's like, "Yeah, I know, I remember." But he says, "I couldn't see who attacked me. I didn't see where he came from. I was ambushed." So it's not. He has no memory loss here. He just didn't see what happened, and he's trying to. He just has no idea who it was, and so that's the part I wanted to check. And then what I liked about Beth's mom coming in, I mean, they actually gave her something else to do instead of being annoying to Beth. She's playing a doctor because that's what she does. And she's being helpful to the team by helping them cover up, or at least what she thought was a good idea to cover it up. So, yay, Beth's mom.
Yeah, and I think it, I like the fact that it tempered her response to her daughter, really thinking about the kind of danger that her daughter's in. And, they've been so gung-ho about, helping Beth, but maybe to bring some balance so that they're not as gung-ho now. So we'll see.
I feel like balance has definitely been a theme the last few episodes. They've said it several times.
Yeah.
Balance.
So Sylvester has suffered a similar puncture wound to what the Gambler had, but he is healing very quickly.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of knew that. It's just been confirmed now. We knew about his healing. We just didn't know how or what was causing it. So we'll get to that stuff a little bit later, but it's now confirmed that he is healing faster.
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
So Dr. Midnight explains that he is channeling energy from Cosmo. And unlike Jade, who is producing, that she doesn't need the power battery for the ring, he is channeling it. He's not producing it, he's just absorbing it. So Dr. Midnight thinks this is how he is backed. So basically, he was so badly hurt, he was basically in deep hibernation, like people thought he was dead because of, how badly he was hurt. And over time, his connection to Cosmo healed him until he was strong enough, and then he woke up. And this also explains how he was able to dig his way out of the coffin, out of the ground, and come out unharmed.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like that we had this bit of exposition because it does explain a lot of things, I guess, even if it's quite convenient. I mean, obviously, but I do like that we actually have an answer that at least sort of makes sense by comic book standards, I guess. So yeah. I don't know. I enjoy the bit of exposition because we got an answer we've all been asking about. Why was he still alive? Or how is he alive? Yeah. Turns out he never died, apparently.
And that'll come around again in a little bit. But let's talk about that for a second here, because did he always have this channeling connection before he died? Is that what kind of made him impervious? Because Cosmo was channeling the energy into him, so therefore he was a bit impervious? Because the way the doc explains it, he wasn't, like you guys just said, he was never really dead after all. He's just healing really slowly from that amount of trauma and injury from the big battle. Because it was never said that he was brought back to life. It was said that he was healing slowly all that time. So he just appeared to be dead. So they buried him. They had a funeral for him. So, I mean, I guess he was in more of a non-breathing cocoon-like state. Like, obviously, they wouldn't bury him if he was... Yeah, because even if he's in a coma, he'd still be breathing. And obviously, the doctors and people would check that, but nobody did.
Right.
That's...
Yeah, and to get... Okay. To get to your question, though, I think he could absorb energy before, and maybe it helped him defend attack, but this healing seems new.
Yeah, because Dr. McKnight was surprised by it.
And if they had known that there was a possibility of healing or different things like that, wouldn't Pat have held on and waited a little bit to see if he's going to come back? So I think Dr. Midnight said the longer that you have a connection, the more things added up, and so maybe maybe it was just it's a newer thing, and because of the damage, whatever, Cosmo put more energy into him. I don't know, but it sounds like it's a newer thing that he didn't have healing powers before before in the original battles. But that's just my take on it.
And also throw in there that he said until Courtney grabbed the staff and connected with it, that's when it reawoken my connection to it. So he was laying in the grave healing. He didn't have the staff with him. The staff was with Pat. So how was the staff giving him energy to heal all this time, unless it's in him constantly, just because he has the connection with the staff? Because it made it sound like the staff has to be near you or with you to feed off its energy, but he's buried 6 feet under, and the staff is with Pat in a different part of the country, and yet he's still healing in his grave. And then he gets reawoken because Courtney grabbed a hold of the staff, and the staff lit up. So there's still a little bit more that they need to, I think, explain with all of that. But like you guys said, comic book wise, it makes decent sense to me. We just have to understand that the staff is giving him energy. It's cosmic energy, but we don't know where that comes from or how it works yet. So I hope they still dive more into that about the staff and start letting us know, how does Cosmo have conscience? How does he have a personality? Where does all that come from? What is making it alive and a sentient being on its own? And then the other thing is okay, well, if Starman is now feeding off energy off of Cosmo, should we change his name to Cosmic Man or something? Because he's not Starman anymore. He's something different.
Yeah, I mean, like, yes and no. I think, like, where they're going with that is that the team and, like, Starman himself, like, weren't aware that, like, the bond or, like, prolonged use of the staff or use of connection to the cosmic energy was necessarily, like, accelerating his healing. Although Dr. Midnite does say that he, like, sort of suspected it. So I imagine he probably noticed that Starman, like, bounced back very quickly, like, compared to other people, depending on, like, the type of injuries he sustained. Just because, I mean, he's a real doctor, so he would know how long, roughly, it probably should take someone to recover. And, like, and then when he died, I mean, he probably, like, was just, like, so close to it. Like, you know how when you can, like, slow down your body processes so that you're, like, still alive, but, like, barely. So I'm wondering if maybe he was hanging on more, like, at the cellular level because of all of this, like, cosmic energy and his maybe connection to the staff. And it sort of left him in, like, a stasis or, like, a hibernation state where he, like, appeared dead. And then he just, because the staff wasn't, like, with him and he wasn't constantly using the staff, maybe just that residual energy or whatever just, like, super slowly healed him until he eventually woke up. And then
that's why it was so slow, because the staff wasn't with him.
Yeah. And then when Courtney
reawoke
it, I think that's when things accelerated and he, like, woke up because he said he woke up when Courtney got the staff, and then, of course, took him some time to dig out, some time to process what was happening and all of that sort of stuff. So that's kind of my take on that whole situation.
Yeah. No, I think we're all on the right path there with that kind of thinking.
Yeah.
So the other thing, did they ever explain why the staff chose Courtney? Because she's not Starman's daughter. She has no lineage at all. So why did it go to her? Did we really get that figured out or an answer to that? Just because she's pure and all that stuff?
Yeah, and I think we may delve into that as we go through the season. I know in this episode we talk about that the staff was given to Sylvester by Ted Knight, who was, like,
the inventor
in the comics, the original Starman. And so there, you know, he had developed cosmic rods and other stuff like that. So I think it's a passing on thing, you know, of finding somebody worthy, you know, somebody close to, you know, that the purity of heart that maybe Cosmo chose her. So
yeah, and that makes sense. And I actually like what this episode kind of played on that idea when Sylvester and Dr. Midnite were talking, and, you know, he's like, don't you miss being Dr. Midnite? And he's like, no, I'm actually enjoying it much more that I've passed on everything to young Beth there. Like, I'm enjoying that more. You know, let the next generation take over. And that's a heavy theme that I think is playing this season is they're all sort of passing the torch or struggling with passing the torch. And it's about the younger team now taking over. I kind of like that. It's a neat.
Right. And that's one of the things I like about this season too, is because that was in the JSA run that I read, a big theme of that is, you know, passing on the mantle of being heroes to that next generation of, you know, you've got Stargirl taking over for Starman, you've got Atom Smasher taking over for the Atom, and, you know, you've got different ones, you know, the Sandman's, you know, different taking over and different things like that. So I like that aspect that we're really starting to see that played out in this season with those heroes. So,
Yep.
So we get this fun scene of Pat and Sylvester watching the outlaw Josie Wales, and Crusher comes in to make amends.
I really enjoyed this scene too. I think that the actor playing Crusher is just hilarious. Like, I love how he portrays the mania of Sportsmaster. Like, he's right on that line, that edge of being, like, too over the top, but it oddly just really works. Like, he has found that edge and he just walks it, and it's just so good. I love it.
He's my favorite too. Yeah, he's not over the top, but he's right there staring at it. Like, it's so funny, and it's just, and here we are. We're talking about him and Pat becoming best buds, and you can see it happening. Pat's original best friend is now here, and Pat's new best friend is trying to like, hey, that's my guy. It's like they're fighting over Pat is what's happening. It's so funny, and now the three of them are going to sit there and have like, I can just see the three of them being a trio of buddies, because even in this episode, Sylvester's starting to accept it. He's like, geez, even the old bad guys like Croc there, even he's moved on and found a way. And I'm like, yes, that's what they're trying to tell us. Like the Crocs and these bad guys have all decided, and that goes back to the passing the torch. Like they've all decided, we've been villains, we've been heroes long enough. Like our careers as those characters are done. Let's just move on with our lives and do what, let the kids take over now. And it's kind of a neat overall theme that's happening. The bad guys are like, I'm done robbing banks and stuff. I'm gonna go raise my kid and run a gym. Like they can do that too. Why can't they? It's like so that this scene with the three of them is just priceless. And I don't know. There's just something about Crusher that just cracks me up, and I'd like to see more and more of the three of them going forward. Now, what if they're going to start actually hanging out?
We'll see.
So funny. But I've got a question about Crusher here. He's Mr. Super Health. We've seen him breaking into Pat's house and throwing away the waffles, drink this smoothie, green grass only, all this kind of stuff. He won't let Pat have anything that's not good for him. Yet he takes a beer and chugs it. That to me was a bit of a character writing flaw somehow, because it doesn't suit how he's been portrayed these last couple seasons. This whole don't harm your body with crap stuff that he's got going on. So yet he chugs a beer. I'm a little bit confused why that didn't suit his character.
Well, we hear him, hear about him in my favorite scene. You'll hear him being talked about doing one-arm push-ups to work off the carbs. So
I mean, yes, it's not great for you, but I guess like everything in moderation, or less than moderation, right? So I think he's under the like mentality of, if I just have like one or two and then work it off, you know what I mean? Like he's probably not doing this every night. Like he clearly came over to commiserate. So, and he's doing a whole bunch of push-ups to work off the extra carbs.
But again, like I argued last week, the Crocs are really trying to change. Like, why would he come over to check in on Starman, his mortal enemy, for how long? He's like, hey man, are you okay? Like, I heard what happened. Here's some beer. Like, he's legitimately trying, exactly the same way as Paula is legitimately trying to be Barbara's friend and look out for her. They're trying. They're not the bad guys.
Yeah, I think they're trying for sure.
Yeah. And it's fun.
So, So we won't discuss super in detail, but because it's my favorite scene, but I really enjoyed the scene where Pat talks with Sylvester and talks about how his fall and different things have helped Courtney kind of take him off of that pedestal and kind of look at things a little more clearly. And so I really appreciate that.
The one point I will say about that, not discussing all the stuff you brought up, is at the very end of that scene when he gives him the box with the new suit in it, I was actually honestly hoping it would look different. I wanted something new so that we get a name change. I didn't want him to be Starman again. We've got Stargirl now. We don't need two of you. We discussed this last week. We don't need both of them. I was hoping that Starman would change because he's got this new cosmic energy in him. I wanted a different looking suit. I thought Pat was going to help him find a new identity and start off with like, hey, you're no longer Starman, but guess what? You can now be Cosmic Man. Look at this cool suit I made you. and Sylvester would be like, hey, yeah, fresh start, new chance at life. Awesome idea. And we didn't get it. So I was actually quite let down when it's just yet another Starman suit.
I don't know.
My feelings.
I guess they were going for nostalgia there. So.
Yeah. But towards the end of the episode, we do get the start of what we'll see in next episode, a Starman, Hourman, and Wildcat team up as they head out to search for Dragon King.
I like that scene. I liked that They came down the stairs looking for Courtney. Sylvester was there waiting for him, and they just let him know everything. They were concerned about keeping him in the loop of information, and he sees the two kids realizing that they could possibly be heading into danger. So he's like, all right, I'll come along. And you could see both of them just be like, they're excited. What? Yeah. Okay, great. Like, they were happy about that. So I like it. They need a mentor. They need someone with the experience to help them along. He's offering it, and they're happy about it. It's cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right, so let's dig into our suspects. And so first up is Cindy. So we knew Cindy was an experiment by her father, but in the other episode we saw her with the, drinking the stuff, the peak liquid, and had the diagrams of, her body and the surgical tools. And it seems like she's experimenting on herself, or at least trying to heal herself. And we see that she has a lizard/dragon arm now. And maybe that would explain the Dragon King-esque cell that they found at the murder scene. But again, I don't buy that she's the killer.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think they're trying to do an awful lot to still paint her in a kind of gray, confusing picture of did she or didn't she, but I'm with you. I still don't think she's the killer either. I mean, I think she's been trying to stop this transformation because she obviously was trying to get the computer from the Gambler because she wanted the files on her father, but she hasn't been able to hack her way into those. I don't think she can be the full killer because she hasn't fully transformed yet. At least not that we can see. It looks like it's kind of like a partial transformation. So I don't think she could be the killer for that reason, but I think it'll still end up to be really suspicious whether that's her skin cell or not, because the JSA is eventually going to figure it out. They noticed she wasn't in school, so they're going to come looking for her. They're going to figure out that she isn't well, or someone's going to notice that she's slowly but surely turning into a lizard. So yeah, it's just going to cause, I think, some more strife amongst the team, which I'm not super crazy about, but I'm also on team Cindy is not the killer. So
here's the thing. If this season is failing at anything, it's this continued direction of trying to make us think it's Cindy. Why would it be that obvious? We're not stupid viewers, so don't treat us like we are. Of course she dropped the dragon scale at the scene because she was there, after all, looking for clues, and she went back to get the laptop and whatever. So sure, there might be one of her cells left behind from her arm because she's constantly in pain, she's scratching at it, maybe it dropped off, if that was hers. But like you guys said, it's not her. Unless, and this is the thing that I thought of, I am 99.9% hell-bent on saying it's not her because it's not that obvious and we're not that stupid. But this idea came to me today. Unless for some reason she's transforming a la werewolf style, so for her it'd be Weird Dragon. Maybe that's the big twist that's coming. To me, it's still too obvious. And you know what I mean? When a person becomes a werewolf, they go out and do their werewolfing things, kill people, eat people, whatever, and then they come back and they change. They don't remember anything. They have no idea what happened the night before. Maybe that is what's happening to her. Is she changes to the dragon, goes out and does something, comes back, and she's like, huh? It's not me. What are you talking about? But to me, it's still a little too obvious. Because, again, the growling and all that kind of stuff. We'll come around to all that stuff again. But with all of those scenes of showing her being in pain, I actually thought that the shiv was growing back in her arm, and that's why she's hurting, because the shiv was growing again inside her, and it's, that would hurt. A sharp metal blade working its way through your arm and stuff as it's growing like a new bone. That's what I thought it was, because growing pains, that type of thing. And that's what she's been doing. Excuse me. Taking those injections and everything. I thought she was putting medication in her that was either designed by her or something made by her dad. And she thought it was a healing cure, and instead it's something that he was working on that is now changing her because she's injecting it. It is now changing her. She thought she was helping herself, but now it's changing her. I also like your idea that, you know, she's experimenting on herself or whatever. I don't know. There's so many possibilities with this. Either way it goes, I'm going to take it to the end of the season that it's not her that did the killing. It's just not.
Okay. Good point. So the next section up is the shadow figure. And since I put this in here, I had some more thoughts. So I'm going to read this section, add my thoughts, and then we can get into the discussion. So we see this shadow figure watching things on the monitors again this week. And from the glimpses that we've had both weeks, I'm still thinking this is a different person and not Cindy with a split personality. Could it be the Dragon King? Maybe, but I don't think so. And here's what I want to add. We know that we are going to get the Jade, Obsidian, and Mr. Bones storyline. So I'm thinking that the person in the shadows is Mr. Bones. But he's got a team of people working with him. And maybe it is Obsidian that sucked the people up in the air with his shadow-like powers, and then there's somebody else on the team that's doing the growling and stabbing. So that's my suggestion, is maybe it is it's his nefarious team that he's got going. And, you've got a couple different people, doing, he's leading, but there's a couple people doing the dirty work. So that's kind of my thinking.
I like it.
So I still have no clue who the growling figure, the stabbing figure could be, but maybe it's Obsidian picking the people up in the air.
Because we didn't see Sylvester get grabbed by anything. He just lifted up in the air as if sucked up by a tractor beam.
Yeah, that's true.
So a shadow could be the answer. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, that's a really interesting theory. Definitely not one I thought of. I think I am currently on Team Dragon King. They're probably misleading us that way, but I'm sticking with it because that was one of my theories. Or if that one's wrong, my next theory would be that it's Killer Croc. So we'll see if either one of those pan out. But I do like your theory. I think that's super cool. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
The thing that's been bothering me though is this individual clearly either has cameras everywhere. I guess he's watching everything. It's like everywhere they go, there's a camera, and he could just see everything the same way that we're seeing everything. So what's the play here? Because he attacks Sylvester at the trailer park, but then he lets the kids go back and discover a skin cell. So that's the first chink in the armor about the skin cell being Dragon King and this being Dragon King, because why would he let them discover that when he's clearly watching? And then he's also watching the hospital room. So he knows everything about Sylvester, all about the bond to the staff and the healing and all of these things. Granted, this was after he attacked him, but I don't know. It's kind of baffling me. It feels slightly inconsistent.
Question. He's watching the video, but does he have audio? I don't think those security cameras have audio on them.
Oh, okay. Okay, so no audio. So he can't hear what they're saying, but he can just kind of watch.
Yeah, he sees who's visiting.
That makes me
Sylvester
feel a little bit better.
Yeah. Well, I'm not 100%. I was just asking. As far as I know about security cameras, most of them don't have audio.
That's true.
It's just video, so.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
But all right, let's revisit everything you guys said. X-Force, I love your idea of it being a team, because that would, right now, everybody, all of us viewers and everyone on the show, all the characters think it's one person.
Yeah.
Now that's the coolest big twist that could throw us right off, is it's not one person, it's 5. There's 5 different people working here, and they each have a part to play. And that, to me, is actually probably the most reasonable and I think true answer that is going to be. Because for me, after this week, I was leaning towards Dragon King. I don't think it's Killer Croc, because the body that we see sitting at the desk is not large enough to be Killer Croc. Killer Croc's a huge person, and it looks like a normal human hand in that black leather glove. glove.
True.
Killer Croc would be a gigantic mitt. So I'm leaning towards Dragon King, but this kind of ties into your theory a bit, X-Force. Now that you mention it, I was thinking that he could be in control of Killer Croc somehow, because the monster we keep hearing with the growls, that sounds like Killer Croc. That could be Killer Croc, and maybe Dragon King is just in control of him. Maybe he's the leader of this team, which kind of ties into your idea. So, but yes, with all those cameras, because I wanted to ask, how does this character have cameras everywhere, or is he just tapping into what the town already has built in? Because this town seems like an older town. We see the classic cars, we see the classic architecture, and yet it's got security cameras everywhere. That's ultra modern.
I'm thinking that some of those were the gamblers, and he tapped into that system.
Oh.
Like, the gambler had his set up, and like he was using his laptop to look at those cameras, and then that's when he noticed that extra camera out there. So I'm thinking, like, in the time that the gambler was gone, that whoever came in and tapped into that system and maybe added some more, but I don't know.
That would make sense.
Okay.
I would buy that it's the system the gambler had set up in season 1. That at least makes more sense to me.
Yep.
So just some background on Mr. Bones that we talked about him last season. So his abilities are superhero strength and endurance. He's got invisible skin and internal organs, so all you see are the bones. But his skin exudes a cyanide compound, so that's kind of his powers. So that could talk about some of the strength, maybe, but I don't know. We'll just have to keep those things in mind as we go forward.
Interesting. I like this. I like this theory.
Yeah, but you brought up last week, Carla. Like, look at the location of where all those TV monitors are. It looks like it's in a sewer.
It does.
Or some underground tunnel of some kind, because all the TVs are on the wall, and you can see all the not the cabling, but the different pipes that have all the cables running to it, and they're all coming down and into it. So he obviously is hiding underground. I don't think he's in the tunnels where Cindy's underground lair is. He's somewhere else, and maybe he's underneath somebody's house. Maybe he's underneath the mansion. I don't know.
I don't know.
But I don't know.
And because I don't know Mr. Bones, I don't know if that's the type of location that he would hide in. Is an underground sewage type of location? I don't know, but
I'm not familiar with this version, because the version I'm more familiar with is when I was reading Batwoman comics. But at that time, he was a political player, and he was in charge of the DEO. And so, like, he was running that organization, and he was a real political player. But so this is kind of a different version, and an earlier version. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I mean, they teased him at the end of last season, and 4 episodes in, we still don't have. Like, why would they show him to us and then not show him when we know he should be coming around? Like, it's like, do you not remember you showed us him last season?
Yeah.
They're really going with this murder mystery premise, so we'll just have to see when that's gonna work itself in.
Speaking of Mr. Bones, it's hilarious. I was in Home Depot today. Do you guys have Home Depot down there?
Yeah.
It's a big hardware store. Okay. They've got all the Halloween decorations out right now. And they have this giant skeleton that's like 15 feet or 18 feet tall. And it towers over you, and he just sits there, and his eyes are digital, so his eyes, there's little TV screens in his eye sockets, so they actually move around and look at you and blink, and oh my God, it is the creepiest thing I've ever seen. Skeletons are the one thing I'm scared of in this life. I hate skeletons. It's something that is dead. It should not be animated. It should not move. It should not speak. It should not do anything. It's dead. And it freaks me out when I see them, and they talk and whatever. Ugh. That's the only thing I'm actually scared of. So when I walk into Home Depot and there's a 20-foot skeleton towering over me, I'm like, yikes, I'm out here.
Love Halloween. Not a fan. I guess you weren't a fan of Tales from the Crypt.
Oh, yeah, with the Crypt Keeper. No, I hated that thing.
Oh,
Crypt
God,
Keeper,
I love that.
yeah.
Okay, anyways.
I hate Halloween. It's my least favorite holiday.
Oh, it's my favorite. I love Halloween. Blasphemy. Let's move on.
Not my precious.
All right. So let's talk about the Cameron section.
Cameron. That's so funny how his grandparents say that. Cameron.
Yes. So it seems as if they are his grandparents are training him in his powers, but they're also denying him his art and keeping things from him. They talk in, their native language about the land of the frost giants from Norse mythology and about Cameron defeating their enemies. So I'm very intrigued. They're frost giants, are they? I don't know.
That's the path it sounds like they're taking us down. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know exactly what to make all of this. I think it's very confusing the way they're presenting it, but also kind of fascinating at the same time. I mean, are his grandparents going to ensure that he follows in his father's footsteps? I mean, because we know, this is a man who wanted great things. The stuff that he laid out was all stuff we agreed that people should have, right? But it was at an extremely heavy cost. So I'm trying to figure out how they're going to get Cameron on board with something like that. They haven't fleshed out enough. So I would like to see more. Definitely intrigued, but it's I don't know what to do with this information right now.
Well, they already are, because they've already got him believing that his entire family heritage has been about helping people with these ice powers.
Yeah.
He said that 3 times in his discussion with Courtney about helping people. My dad was trying to help people. He died helping people. Our family's always, he mentioned it quite a few times, so they've got that sunken into him already. But I mean, think of Loki. Loki comes from frost giants.
I know. I was just about to say, was he Loki?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But to me, this is fascinating. I mean, there's so much history there with his family lineage. Norse frost giants, Niflheim, generations of his family having this ice power. I mean, that's a long line of pure metas. It's just part of their family line, and I think it's so damn cool. Pun intended. I think it's fascinating. I really want to open this up. I would love to see some flashbacks of his family and what's going on, where this came from and why. Because they were his grandpa was praise the gods of Niflheim, and they've blessed us and whatever. So yeah, they obviously believe in something, and that's where they got their ability from. So I want more. I want more of this history.
What did they say? Yeah, bless definitely. Our grandson so our enemies might suffer. It was holy cow.
Yeah.
that was grandma.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But, again, he's still not in full control of his powers, and his emotion triggers responses. And so Courtney's confrontation with him causes his powers to act out, and he ices out the entire art room.
This was a fun scene, and I actually thought she did a pretty decent job of actually prying for information without totally giving herself away, because I mean, he even says it at the end, he's like, you must think this is so crazy, you're normal. And I'm like, oh, if you only knew. Just give it time. I am sure you will find out.
Holy freaking Icicle Junior Batman. I mean, I don't know how you guys aren't more excited about that scene, because he totally turned full blue Iceman in that moment.
Yeah.
When he exploded, he was head to toe pure ice, like Dear Dad. And it was just awesome. That was something I did not expect to see. I thought he might, have a little icicles flying around and just a bit, but for him to full on explode like that and turn into icicle, it was so dang cool. And yet again, I gotta knock the show, because here we got the bathroom pink lightning full of keys, and now we have the art room completely destroyed again. Nobody's gonna ask what the hell's going on around here. The art room was destroyed, and it's full of ice, stalagmites and stalactites made of ice. Come on.
At least Courtney locked the door. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. But are they going to clean it up? There's got to be an art class that day. I don't know.
I know.
Anyway. Yeah. But with Courtney, this is where I think she's screwing up big time, and is going to be the absolute cause of Cameron turning evil and being a bad guy. He's telling her everything. He's confiding in her, and she's not saying a damn thing. You see her hesitate. He keeps asking her questions, and she has the opening. She should say something. She should tell him stuff because he's being honest with her, but she's keeping secrets from him and not being as honest with him as he is with her, and that is going to hurt him once he finds out, because he's going to find out, and it's not going to be from her. He's going to find out from somewhere and someone else, and it's going to piss him off, and he's going to lose it big time. And that is what this show is predictable for me. The predictable writing is what's bugging me right now in this show. It's what bugs me about her character, and it's what we've all complained about since the days of Arrow, is secrets from each other causes problems. Stop it.
You're not wrong. They're clearly taking him down the villain path, and they need a vehicle to get him there. And as much as I don't like it, I do think that's what they're doing. And I think it's going to be Grandma that clues him in and be like, oh, well, they caught them kissing or something. And so she's going to be like, oh, well, you know who that girl really is, don't you? Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. Grandma's going to tell him.
He's going to find out how his dad died, because he admitted, he's like, it wasn't an accident. Someone killed him. And he's
Yep.
I mean, he's going to find out it was Mike driving a car. Like, so what's that? I don't know what's going to happen there, but still, it's he's going to find out, and not from Courtney, because she won't tell him, and it's
Yep.
Like you said, emotions. Yeah. He confided in her, and she's not telling him a thing. And when he finds that out, boom! You think that art room explosion was something? Watch out! But it's cool because Icicle was dang cool. Yeah, I mean, everybody laughs at Iceman of the X-Men, but they're making Icicle. This is how you do a good character with ice powers. It's pretty awesome.
Right.
You can knock Iceman, but I do love that actor. So.
That played Iceman?
Sean Ashmore, yes.
Oh, yeah. One of the twins.
Yes.
Yeah.
Saw his brother at Dragon Con. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, he's on the Rookie now, too.
Yeah.
Yes, and he's hopefully on the Warehouse 13 reboot that may or may not be coming. So.
Yeah,
he's
hope.
the lawyer on the Rookie, and he's married to one of the detectives. So.
Nice.
Yeah. So we won't delve too much into this because it's just his favorite scene, but we do get to see how Courtney helps him channel his energies and his emotions into things. So we'll talk about that more. But yeah, like Flash said, I had the point here is what happens when he finds out that she had a hand in his death.
Exactly.
What's going to happen?
I mean, the real question is Courtney going to spill her secret and try to recruit him to the JSA that way, even though they killed his dad? Or is she going to keep it back and Grandma going to spill the beans and then he's really going to find out how his dad died? So, I don't know.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. She needs to spill it all now while there's still a chance that he might understand. Because the longer she waits, the worse it's going to get, and he's going to blow. It's totally Icicle Jr., new supervillain that is coming. It's all going to be her fault. It's like this is the big lesson she has to learn is be honest and open. I don't know. It's going to be her fault.
I know, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I can see it coming, and I don't like it. So please don't do the predictable thing, writers. Please. I guess I can't really tell you that because it's already done, but anyways...
Yeah. You're listening to our podcast. Oh, shoot. Harley said not to. Okay. Rewrite, reshoots, back.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody come back to set.
Oh, yeah.
Refilm the last 2 episodes.
Aren't they already filming the 4th season? Or, no, because we don't know if it's renewed yet.
Well,
right.
that's the other part of news I forgot to put in there. They've told us that we're supposed to know by the end of this month if they're getting a 4th season because the actors
either
be
be released or come back to the set.
Have to go back to set.
That's why there's a hiatus next week. Yeah. Because they don't want to tell us.
Probably.
Like, we're not even going to be on air next week because we're going to deal with this.
Possibly. Anyways.
I don't know. Anyway.
Okay.
All right. So closing out our discussion is our favorite section is lessons in normalcy. So... Paula's intimidation of Tim Tattle, worked, and he is approving everything Barbara presents.
I thought this was a great scene just because I loved the way the actor kind of portrayed being like super uncomfortable around Barbara, with praising Barbara, with obviously being like, you're amazing. I loved it. I thought he was great.
I do agree. Like, the guy's performance is amazing. I'm just don't really care for the character on the show. I don't know, whatever. I think they're trying to fill it in. Like I said, they're filling in stuff for Barbara, so she's got a story of her own, which is great. I really liked how Paula came back to make sure that her threatening worked. That's what I enjoyed out of all of that, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So she appears in Barbara's office at the end of the day, checking in, like you said, and she gives Barbara a present. She gives her a taxidermied animal that she made herself. She probably killed the animal herself and then stuffed
it. She made it herself. Like, she learned the lesson. Oh my God, I died when I saw this scene. Like, it was absolutely hilarious that she took her advice to heart and put her own twist on it. Like, this is something that I love, and this is how I'm going to show you that I value your friendship. I have taxidermied this terrible rodent for you myself. It's amazing.
What kind of animal was that? It looked like a red panda to me, which is endangered.
I think it was
some sort of like common animal. I have no idea what it was. A possum, a porcupine. I have no idea.
And this is why I'm loving the Crocs so much.
I think it's a
Both
fox.
Paula and Crusher they're hilarious. They're two of them.
It's very funny.
It's so much fun. And I'll give Amy Smart's her response to that was priceless too.
I know.
She was good in that scene.
I know. I do like Amy Smart. She's great.
Last season she was useless to me, and I don't know why she was on the show. I don't see any acting coming out of her. This season she's got something fun to deal with, and now I can start seeing her reactions and how she's handling Paula, and it's making it much more enjoyable for sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of enjoyable, let's get to our favorite scenes.
43 powers, activate!
All right, I'm first this week. What do you know? So I'm going back to the scene in the hospital. This is called Cosmic Awakenings, when we get all that info from Dr. Midnite on Starman and how he survived. Because I love that they're actually giving us answers to mysteries on the show instead of letting us wait to the very end and possibly not giving us answers. So here's that scene.
Your wounds. I don't understand it, but it's astounding. You're healing remarkably fast. What is it, Doc? I think I finally understand how you came back to the land of the living. Enlighten me. That's exactly what I think the staff did, Sylvester. It imbued you with its cosmic energy when you died. I'm guessing that energy is what healed you over the years while you were in some kind of stasis. Even now, I'd theorize long-term exposure to the staff has altered your physiology. Like Alan's daughter, who was imbued with the power of his ring. Jenny became a living lantern.
So, you're saying I'm a living cosmic staff?
Not quite. Your body is processing the energy from the staff, absorbing it, not generating it like Alan's daughter.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good info dump. That gave us a lot of answers, and I totally appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But going back to our conversation, just listening to that now, Dr. Midnite says the staff imbued you with a lot of energy when you died.
Yes.
So it's like maybe he did actually die, and the staff's like, whoa, whoosh, here's a flow of energy, and now you can slowly heal over time. This will bring you back. And so, yeah, it's
yes.
Interesting.
So that is kind of confirmation that he did die, and the cosmic staff gave him a bunch of energy so that it would essentially regenerate his cells or keep him in stasis or whatever it was, however he termed that.
Mm-hmm.
Which would make sense why they buried him, because he is actually dead.
Yeah.
But healing on a cellular level that they wouldn't be checking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And slowly.
Cool.
Because, I mean, we assume, it's been many, many years since that battle, so he's been dead a long time. Well, dead a long time.
Yeah.
So, interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. That's it. I want a cosmic staff now.
We all do.
Yeah.
All right, I'm next up, and I call this one Glory Days, Not Retirement. So let's take a listen.
There you are. Hey. Just getting some air.
Yeah. Crusher's doing one-arm push-ups to work off the carbs. He actually thinks I'm still down there.
That guy's a maniac.
It's funny. He was calling you a maniac, and you're calling him a maniac. And it's not funny, because you're right, he is crazy. You're looking better. How you feeling?
Well, not as good as back when I first got the staff from Ted.
Yeah.
Those were unforgettable times.
I hear you.
Is there anything sadder than an old man clinging to his glory days?
Glory days, right?
Hell, even bad guys like Crocker moved on. Which is why I think I should leave Starman where he was great. In the past. Once and for all. Since I got here, all I've done is screw up.
Hey. Sure, you made some mistakes. There have been a few transgressions. You destroyed the supermarket. You got Courtney to skip school. You tried to murder the Shade, Paula, Crusher, and Steve Sharp. Right. And don't take this the wrong way. But watching you screw up, I think it's finally helped her understand the importance of balance in her life. You know?
Well, I'm glad I could be a bad example.
You can be a good one, too. To Courtney and all these kids.
A mentor? Like you?
Why not? Think about it. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really love the fact that, here Pat's helping him, to be a little more grounded and to be, that good example for the kids. And I like the fact that Sylvester is acknowledging that Pat's being a good mentor to him. So, once again, I just love the interaction between these two.
You know what I noticed, X-Force? You got another porch scene.
Yes.
Yeah. I like the porch scenes. Yes, I do.
I like the scenes between them. I like how they're like showing them reconnect, but they're also giving them that brother-like relationship that I feel like they sort of had but didn't really have, because Starman was always treating him more like a sidekick. So I like how they're trying to bring this back around and have them be more like brothers.
Well, Pat's essentially being a mentor to him.
That's true.
At the moment.
Yeah.
Or
he's passing on the
figure.
same wisdom he's passing to the kids. He's now passing on to Sylvester. So,
yeah,
cool.
True.
All right, Harley, finish this out.
All right, I picked one of the last scenes, and I called this one "Foreshadowed Snow Globes."
So the mural was the last thing I was able to paint before my hands stopped working.
Have you ever tried using this gift like you do your art?
What do you mean?
Well, you express yourself so beautifully through color and paint. Can you do it through the ice?
You mean express how I feel? I could have really hurt you, Courtney.
Because you were alone and afraid. You're not alone now.
How can you be so calm about all this? No. It's too dangerous.
Only if you let it be.
How do you know?
Because I know you. And you're sweet and kind and thoughtful. Someone once told me that emotion is what fuels us. It affects everything we do and how we do it. And by embracing the love and hope I had for the people I cared about, it worked. Okay. Think of all the love you have for your mom and dad and what they mean to you. Let your gift out feeling that.
I don't want to hurt you again.
You won't.
A lot of really loud explosions and stuff happened right after that, so I had to stop it there.
That's fair, but I mean, this is the scene I've been waiting for, so I got what I wanted, which was the kiss, the inevitable kiss, and then I guess
big kiss after that,
the inevitable downfall. But one thing that did strike me in this scene, I couldn't help but notice, she's wearing white sneakers and is more light, and he is dressed all in black. So lots of things happening.
Yeah, and she's got like a white skirt on too, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So talking about the snow globes, did you look at the snow globe that he froze up at the beginning and think that's Courtney in a snow globe?
100% I did, which is what inspired my title right here. I was like, why does I assume his dad, or was he collecting a snow globe with what looked like exactly like Courtney on the inside of it? That was creepy.
Unless that was his mom. Could have been his mom.
That's the other thought I've had is is that a snow globe of his mom?
That's true.
So
that's why he's kind of attached to Courtney. Yeah, I don't know. And also to go with your white and black, you know how I keep making fun of his voice? It's way deeper than any teenage boy should have. Courtney's voice is very high-pitched and squeaky, so there's another contrast.
I was thinking, light and dark, good and evil.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yep. So it all fits.
It does.
Because good guys don't talk with voices like that.
I'm Batman.
Yeah. It's rare, yeah, you know what I mean? So. Fun stuff. Well, there you go, guys. We're going to remind you about our Patreon. Here you go.
If you'd like to support our podcast, you can do so at our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/tomorrowslegends.
Which we need to remind you guys about the Patreon bonus content. You guys have not sent in any requests for extra stuff during Stargirl. We're 4 weeks in, so I just wanted to remind you guys to do that. Fun questions, more questions about Stargirl, personal stuff, whatever you want to send us. You guys can do that. That's what that's there for.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
If you don't dial, it will cry like a violin. Feedback.
All right. First up, we have Comic Geek Kev, and he says, "Good day, legends. The return of Dr. Midnite? Absolutely." That was funny. Absolutely. I really don't care for Yolanda's mother. I have to wonder if the portrayal of her is for a specific reason. That maybe it will lead to something aside from rebellion from Yolanda. Like maybe there's some kind of backstory that we don't know that may involve the original JSA or something. There has to be a reason they are making her the character they are. Yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe.
Yeah. I guess Rick is still off at digging graves. So Sylvester got the staff from Ted Knight. Did we know that? I think we did. I don't know if the show explained that. I know we explained it to every one of you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought in this universe Sylvester was the first Starman. Maybe I missed or forgot that somewhere along the way. And are we to assume that if Sylvester is absorbing energy from the staff and it's helping him heal, that the same would happen with Courtney? With long-term exposure, I would think so.
Yeah.
And with Ted, maybe Ted is just the inventor. Maybe he's the one that just created the weapons. He wasn't actually Starman.
I feel like they may have said that in season 1.
Yeah, I mean, he may have invented it in this reality.
Yeah, but he wasn't actually Starman.
But in the comics, he was Starman. He had the cosmic rods and then the staff and then that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Okay. The same would happen to Courtney. Like, maybe she will get badly hurt or gasp, die, but then be okay because of the staff energy. Or the staff is gone and Sylvester somehow transfers his portion of the staff energy to save her, or something like that. Just some thoughts.
Good thoughts.
Yeah.
So last week I said I had a couple thoughts about who the killer is, and boy was I off. But didn't one of you or one of the other listeners put forth the idea of Cindy's father? That was Harley.
That was me.
Yep.
But now it looks like they're saying it's Cindy being transformed in some way. But at the same time, she seems like she's surprised by her transformation. Plus, if she had done it as some kind of giant monster, how is her costume intact when the JSA found her over the gambler's body? Still seems like the mystery isn't solved. More misdirection.
Yep.
It's not Cindy. Crusher continues to grow on me. I hope they keep the Crocs on a more or less straight path, with little nods to the past like Paula threatening Tim. Sometimes even the good guys need someone who is willing to do things that aren't on the up and up, but I'd like to see more Artemis. Yeah, she's been actually missing the last couple episodes.
Yeah, after her weird tryout, they sort of sidelined her.
Yeah. Really weird. I'm growing frustrated with the Cameron story. Will he be good? Will he be bad? Will they be a couple? Will he learn to control his powers? Yes, he will. This seems very CW with their relationship, which is fine, but I almost don't care. I'm assuming and hoping that soon they will pick up the pace, but it's been slow. The grandparents obviously have a plan for him, and we assume he'll go the other way, but I just don't care right now. Okay.
I'm curious about him and his story. And I think I'm the only one that cares about him and Courtney, so.
It's fine. I think they're a good couple. I think I would definitely root for them, but it's going to be heartache and sadness when it comes to that.
Probably.
Mike and Jakeem with the Thunderbolt continue to be humorous, yet pointless. Either they don't know what to do with them, or they're building up to something. But there's still a lot to cover. We haven't seen Jade, although we did get a mention, so that might be a good sign. And we still have the mystery, and I don't think that's going to last all season. I thought it was going to be a couple bigger arcs through the season. The Gambler, then Infinity Inc., then maybe something else. I liked that Beth's parents, at least her mom, are coming back to reality of what's really involved. I'll be interested to see if they follow up with that. Will they talk to her about the obvious dangers, try to dissuade her from heroing, or will that story just sort of fall off? Either is equally possible. There really are a lot of characters we're following. I guess that's the problem with team shows. You have the team plus all the people around them. That's a lot to juggle. But I'm glad they're giving Barbara a little more screen time, and I assume something is going to come of her town project that will intersect with the team in some way. I don't think they would just be showing us her office politics unless something bigger comes of it. Oh, now there's an interesting thought. What if in her renovating the town is how the town discovers all the underground layers and dungeons?
That'd be interesting. I don't know if they'll do that, but that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. While I'm still enjoying the show, I'm feeling like it's getting bogged down a bit. So much going on, and if history stands, they'll wrap it all up in 20 minutes in the last episode of the season.
Much to Flash's annoyance.
Kev.
Yeah.
Yes. Until next week, I give this episode 8.5 trillion keys to nothing. Common Geek Kev. Yeah. Next up is voicemail from Dad L.
Hello, Cosmic Crew. Dad L here. I thought we had another pretty solid episode this week. A few comments from me. So the Cosmo's energy brought Sylvester back. Well, this was kind of a letdown for me. I really thought there'd be a bigger mystery here. I thought there'd be more to his coming back. As if we're going with what Dr. Midnite said, then it was just absorbed energy. I thought somehow him being resurrected would be tied to his erratic behavior, but if I'm taking this at surface value, it's all been wrapped up in a nice little package here. But given that explanation, I do think we need some backstory on the staff. I know you all have discussed this before. How does it collect energy? Is it cosmic energy? Is it stellar energy? How does it get it in the basement? How was it created? What's the technology? I think it would be good at some point to get some of the backstory on the staff itself. Next up, we see Cindy has the scales. She's transforming into the Dragon Queen. Apparently she was able to keep it at bay, but not now. So you know the JSA is going to find out and blame her for the murder, although I don't think she was responsible. But could that scale have been hers? Is Dragon King, is that a fake out? Is it really a scale that she lost there and Mr. Bones is behind the murder? He's the murderer? I think that's interesting to think about. And it's finally good to see some progress on the Courtney Cameron front. I just have one question. What is the shipper name here? Does anyone want to come up with anything? How about Camden or Star Ice? I don't know. I can't think of anything great here, but it was good to see progress there. And a little bit what we've been talking about seeing the town. How are things covered? Why aren't there police? Well, we at least know that Beth's mom, being a doctor at the hospital, can cover for them to some regard, and that's what we got this week. And I think, although it was a little bit of a stretch given what happened at the grocery store and the people that were there and probably security cameras to say, well, he was involved in the hit and run, but at least we got something, that some kind of cover that's being provided to Starman and the GSA. But anyway, I appreciate that effort on behalf of the writers. My rating, 8 snowflakes. Dad Al, last father of Krypton.
Hit and run by shopping cart, I guess. Starsicle is what Harley came up with for the shipping name.
I did not come up with that. There were several floating around on Twitter. A lot of people say Camney as the official one. I don't like that. I think Starsicle is so much better. So that's the one I'm going with.
Yeah, Camney. That's weird. That just sounds like a girl's name.
I don't like it. I think Courtney should come first. But anyways.
Yeah, for sure. Fun thoughts, everybody. Fun thoughts, Dado. He said something else, and then he got me thinking about the shipping name, and I forgot the other point I wanted to comment on. Sorry, Dado. If I remember, I'll get you next week. And that is all we got, guy. Oh no, sorry. A Facebook message came in from Perry White, and Perry White, you missed your deadline. That's it. Next week, you're sitting on the back desk writing classifieds. That's it.
Oh no.
That's your punishment for this week. What did you have to say, though?
Yeah, so I reached out to him real quick because it is quite unusual for us not to get feedback from him. He said he had a crazy week, but in short, I liked the episode well enough. Have no idea how Dragon King is still alive. Maybe the staff is resurrecting people and Starman is trying to kill them. I left a word out there, but that's what it's supposed to say.
Yeah. Okay. Why would the staff go resurrecting the bad guys too? I don't know.
I got nothing.
Fun thought. Yeah.
But it's a fun theory.
Good stuff. Yeah. All right, well, that is all we got for thoughts from our listeners. If you want to be part of the show, and we really want you to be, we want to hear your thoughts, voicemails, emails, everything, good or bad, doesn't matter. We want you on the show, so listen to this.
If you would like to be a part of the show, you can send in your feedback to tomorrowslegendspodcast@gmail.com. You can also reach us on Twitter @tomorrowslegends. We'd love you to join our Facebook page at facebook.com/groups/tomorrowslegends and become part of the community.
All right, so as X-Force let y'all know, we do not have Chapter 5 next week. We got to wait 2 weeks.
Yep, and then it's Chapter 5, The Thief.
The Thief.
Yeah. So
all right.
It's interesting.
So what is the thief going to steal?
I got nothing.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I am
But you know what?
puzzled.
They keep calling these episodes something, and the title of the episode doesn't appear until the last 2 minutes of the episode. This one was called The Evidence, and we didn't get the cell until the very end to reveal, it could be Cindy's cell. That was in the last moment, right?
Yeah, that's true. So
yeah,
someone stole something. I guess maybe we'll get the reveal that Cindy stole the laptop. The team will get that reveal.
Yeah.
Maybe. Who knows? Well, that's all we got for you guys this week. If you're listening to the Mandalore podcast, that's the Star Wars show that I cover with Dee Vizsla. Andor began, and the first 3 episodes were released, and we are covering all 3 of them in one giant podcast this Sunday. So if you want to send in some feedback, send feedback to the Mandalore podcast at gmail.com, all about Andor. That is everything I got coming up. I don't know about you guys. What else is going on? Have you guys been watching She-Hulk?
Nope.
Yes.
Haven't started it.
Okay, quick curiosity, Jeff. What do you think of it? 6 episodes in.
I think it is a fun, light comedy. I like how we're seeing different styles of comic book TV shows, and so I enjoy Tatiana Maslany. I think it's fun. It's a nice break during my week to sit down and watch that, and the cameos are fun. It's lighthearted. It's not anything super deep. I'm enjoying it.
I'm enjoying it, but I want a little more. Like, the episodes are super short, and 75% of the episode is just lawyer stuff and office stuff, and it's not so much She-Hulk. Like, you're lucky if you get a quick little, scuffle with her as She-Hulk or whatever. And I'm wanting a bit more. I don't know. I think it's 9 episodes this season, so they got 3 more to do, and I'm expecting there's no big stories developing. There's nothing, no mystery happening. There's nothing really making you want to come back, because you're like, I'll watch it whenever, because you're not left hanging on the edge of your seat wondering about anything. So it's okay.
Yeah,
I'm not
it's a
super enthused.
it's a half-hour legal comedy. That's what it is. It's like, it's like putting it in. Yeah, but the thing about it is you're talking about Andor on the Mandalorian. Andor is like I said, it's a different tone than some of the other Star Wars properties. I think what they're trying to do is to say this is a big universe, and there can be different types of content, and not everything has to be the same type of content. So this is a half-hour legal comedy with superheroes. So
yeah, and I love the girls. What's her name that plays Tatiana
Maslany?
Yeah, she's fun. Like she is fun. She's having fun with it, and she's nice and goofy. I do enjoy her character. So, and the other thing for our Arrow Squad listeners and fans of Arrow, what's the actor's name? He was in season 5 as, holy cow, my name's
Prometheus.
Prometheus, yeah. What was the other name he went by in Arrow?
Oh gosh,
he was the DA.
The DA, yeah. Adrian.
Adrian Chase.
Adrian Chase.
Yes.
He is in She-Hulk, and he's goofy and silly and completely opposite from the vile villain that he was in Arrow. And I am enjoying him when he appears. That's funny.
He's fun.
All right, guys, that is it. I'm going to wrap it up. This is The Flash, signing off.
This is Harley Quinn. I'm out.
This is X-Force 11. So say we all.
Tomorrow's Legends is not affiliated with CBS, Warner Brothers, HBO, or the CW. We're a fan-made podcast for entertainment purposes only and are part of the Cybercast Network. Be sure to check out our partner shows, The Mandalore and Dive into DC, covering your favorite Star Wars and DC Comics properties. Thanks for listening.